right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to go through Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners, but this is not going to be my regular daily update. I have something different I want to talk about, and I think it's going to be really important going into the year 2023. So we talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time. If you're new to this channel or if you have not yet subscribed, please press the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Also, if you could smash the like button, I really appreciate it. Lastly, if you want to become a member, you can join the channel by hitting the join button on the YouTube page. It's right next to the subscribe button. Members get some members-only content. We also do a members-only live stream once a week, and the members get to choose a company for me to do a deep dive on every week. So we have some fun. You're welcome to join us. Okay, let's talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. And then I want to get to the point that I have to make because something has changed recently. I think the change is here to stay, so I want to go through it. We'll quickly just take a look at the big board. We're early in the trading day, so I'm not taking too much away from this. One of the themes of today is going to be volatility. So this is a snapshot here this morning, and you'll see this is a relatively calm day versus what's been happening recently in the Bitcoin miners. So we have Core Scientific down 8%. We have GREE up almost 10%. We have Argo Blockchain down about 6.5%. We have Wolf up 9%. So you can see we have some things moving up and down, but at this particular moment, nothing's even in double digits. So this is what I wanted to talk about. We're getting a lot of double-digit moves, and we're getting a lot of massive double-digit moves. 30%, 40%, 50%, 70%. I'm going to show you a day where one of the Bitcoin miners fluctuated about 250% in one day. So I think this is the new norm for the time being. Until we break out of where we are, we have a different type of volatility going on. So I want to talk about that and show you which stocks I think it's affecting. It's going to affect my trading strategy in 2023. Obviously, you guys know, if you're familiar with the channel, I'm a buy and hold. But I do think with this massive amount of volatility, there's a lot more swing trades to be made out there. I'm not so much of a day trader, but if you're a day trader, there's some massive day trades to be made as well. So quickly, I just want to look at Bitcoin on a few time frames just to give you a perspective of what's going on. On the Bitcoin side of things, we have been extremely stable. The volatility has been completely sucked out of Bitcoin. I think this is the lowest level of volatility I know in at least 2 years. This may be the lowest volatility level ever in the price of Bitcoin. And as I show you larger time frames, that's going to become evident. So this is the 15-minute time frame. As always, there's an orange line where Bitcoin was when the market closed yesterday. So that was at around 16,586. It's at around 16,616. So it's within $50 of where it was when it closed yesterday. And this is the type of tiny volatility that we're getting on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to jump out a time frame and give you a little better perspective. Okay, so this is Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. This blue line right here at 16,875, this dates back to November 30th. So this blue line runs through the entire month of December. For the first half of the month, this was a very clear line of support. We did go a little below it here, but we basically touched it every day. And then when it crossed the line in the middle of the month, you'll see it immediately went from support in the first half of the month to resistance in the second half of the month. So that definitely is a fundamental shift. However, even if we look at where it is right now, from this line at 16,875, we're still about 1.5 to 1 2/3% within that line right now. So that's what we've been in a trading range, plus or minus 2% of this blue line at 16,875. So this is an incredibly tight trading range, and it's been the entire month of December. I'm going to go out one more time frame. Okay, so if I go out to the daily time frame, you're going to see we had a crash here. This was the FTX situation. So from that point, we moved right up to this line, and we have been sideways ever since. So really, this goes all the way back to the FTX crash. So we experienced a little bit of volatility. We had a massive pullback during that crash. But from Bitcoin's perspective, we have been going almost absolutely sideways, really for a couple of months now. However, on the Bitcoin miner side of things, you're going to see it has been chaos. So we're having a fairly green day today. We looked at the board. There were some things that were close to double digits in the red, close to double digits in the green. So the volatility continues. But I want to take a closer look and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So if you look at yesterday's big board, again, Bitcoin hardly moved yesterday. It was basically sideways. Yet we have an awful lot of volatility on a day where Bitcoin was almost absolutely sideways. So no volatility in Bitcoin, massive volatility in the Bitcoin miners. This is becoming a theme. So this was yesterday's big board. Let me go to Friday's big board. Okay, so these were the Bitcoin miners on Friday. So you can see these are massive, massive moves. In a more traditional environment, most stocks don't move this much in a year. So we're getting daily moves, and it's almost every single day. This is not corresponding to Bitcoin's movement because we have gigantic moves to both the upside and the downside. This speaks to the volatility of the smaller market cap Bitcoin mining stocks. So that is what I want to get to. I want to get to a chart of the market cap of all these stocks and take a look. And I'm going to tell you what I think is happening right now and is likely to continue to happen indefinitely here until we can trade outside of this range. Okay, I do want to go through some other charts that I put together that show some of the volatility and how each of the Bitcoin miners is doing versus Bitcoin. But first, I want to go through this market cap chart because I think this has a lot to do with what's going on. The market cap of the entire Bitcoin mining industry has shrank about 90%. And we are now to the point where these aren't even microcap stocks anymore. So here's the technical definition. The term microcap stock applies to companies with low or micro market capitalizations. Companies with a market capitalization of less than $250 to $300 million are often also called microcap stocks. So if we go back to this list, other than Riot Blockchain and Marathon, every single one of these falls under the bottom of the microcap category. So what does that make it? Well, that makes it a nanocap. So here's the definition of a nanocap. Nanocap stocks refer to companies that have a market cap of less than around $50 million. These are volatile investments or trades, and investors should always evaluate their risk tolerance before thinking about parking some cash in nano caps. But there's the advice right there, and this is what I want to talk about. Once you're down to a nano cap stock, you can have a 50% move, and it's hardly a move at all. It could be a couple of pennies. So in other words, when we go to this list, if I go to the bottom, this is DigiHost. Its total market cap is now $10 million. So this was once a $150 million market cap company. So at that time, if it were to move $5 million, that would be a very, very small move. That would just be a normal day. Now, if it were to move $5 million, that would be a 50% move on the day. These are all nano cap stocks. So, for greed to make a 50% move, it's not that hard to imagine. And I'm going to show you some moves that are much bigger than that. We've had 1 or 2 day moves that are triple or quadruple that. And it is because of the nature of the fact that these are tiny, tiny market caps now. This was not the Bitcoin mining industry a year ago. All these companies were somewhere around 10 or 15 times the size of what they are right now. Core Scientific's all the way down to $35 million. This was a $3 billion company within the last year. Argo Blockchain's down to $35 million. Bit Digital's down to $45 million. Iris Energy, $58 million. So these are all tiny, tiny market caps. If something were to go wrong, so on a day where some bad news comes out, and we're getting more and more of that, and I'm going to talk about that, these stocks can take violent moves. We used to worry about a stock going down 5 or 10% in a day. Now, there have been days where stocks have gone down 50 or 75%. Or conversely, a bit of good news has pushed stocks up 50 or 100%. So again, especially if you look at something like Core Scientific, which was the $3 billion company, a $35 million move was like a 1% move back in the day. Now, that's a 100% move. So you can see how at scale, things are getting out of control. You used to be able to predict how your Bitcoin miner was going to do based on how Bitcoin did on the day. You would factor in how the NASDAQ did because the cryptocurrency world tends to move along with the NASDAQ a little bit, or at least it has for the last year or two. But there are days where that's not a factor at all. Bitcoin is absolutely sideways, and you'll have one company up 50% and another company down 50% on the same day. So even if we get all the way up to the third largest Bitcoin miner by market cap, that's $158 million. That is still beneath the definition of a micro-cap stock. So some of these are strong companies. So obviously, again, this is not financial advice. You guys have to decide which companies that you like. But I see several companies on this list that I think have a very strong future. So the fact that they've been beaten down 90 or 95 or 99%, and they're now making these wild, wild swings, to me, I'm using as a buying opportunity to dollar cost average in. I've always said I'm a long-term investor, so that's my strategy. But what I'm saying is you can expect much more massive volatility. And one of the things that that's doing is it's washing a lot of investors out of the space. And this, unfortunately, is how the market works. These Bitcoin miners, right or wrong, have been pushed down to very, very small market caps. At these small market caps, they can make big moves. I'm not going to say it's manipulation. This is just how the market works. You can push around a $35 million market cap company a lot easier than you can a $1 billion market cap company, right? It takes almost no effort at all. So on days where any news comes out to the positive or the negative, these things are likely to react massively. I just want to show you a few of the moves that I'm talking about, just so that you can see, this is not hypothetical. This is Argo blockchain. So in these 2 days back in October, Argo blockchain was down a total of 36%. So that's a 2-day move. So back on October 26th, just in 1 day from the top to the bottom, there was about a 30% move in Argo blockchain. So that's 1 day. Now, if we go just a few days later, from the high of one trading day to the low of the very next trading day, that's almost a 60% move, 58.85%. So that's just in 2 trading days. And here's the thing, some of these moves don't start to look big on a chart because it's down so much. So you look at these moves and it looks like this is a small move maybe compared to some of these big moves here. But even this move in a 3-day trading window, Argo blockchain was down 53%. So that doesn't look like much, but it was a gigantic move. Then just about a week later, we have a 2-day period where Argo blockchain is up 72% in just 2 trading days. So you can see all of these small cap companies are having days like this right now. So if you're in these stocks, you've got to be ready and understand a day like this could come along at any time. And a downward move of 50% could be reversed, a week later, right back up to where you were to begin with. So if I look at GREE, there really hasn't even been any gigantic announcements on GREE. Here's a 3-day window ending November 11th where GREE was up 51%. So just a little bit later, here's a 4-day window in the middle of December where GREE is down 53%. So you can see this is only over the course of a few trading days, and sometimes it's just 1 trading day, right? And we saw this day. This was a 39% down day in 1 day. That was December 16th. So I do have a lot of other examples, but I'm not going to go through and show you 100 examples. The point I'm trying to make is I think as we go into 2023, we need to start understanding the nature of these very small micro and nano cap stocks that we are now looking at in the Bitcoin mining world, because that's not what these stocks were a year ago. So I've been trading these stocks for several years. So many of us have moved along through where these went from decent sized companies to nano cap stocks. And I just think you need to make the necessary adjustments in your mindset and your trading set, your risk tolerance, all of those things, understanding that until there's a major change in Bitcoin, the fact is half of these Bitcoin miners are nano cap companies now. They are subject to this type of volatility on any given day. So I just wanted to get that out there and let everybody know that, because I feel like it's a big part of the market right now. It is causing a lot of people to bail out on the Bitcoin miners altogether. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.